Hello everyone, I'm Chrissy B and welcome to my show. Now today I'm going to be speaking with international supermodel and brand ambassador Harriadnie Beau to discuss the truth behind a career in modelling. And we also have Chris Cowlin to discuss his creative success in writing and acting. And Chris is also a quiz book master and holds the record for the most published by one author. We also have the self-development clinic with Chris Browne today on understanding your way of learning. And we have a fitness tip from Jane on strengthening your pelvic floor. That's for the ladies, by the way. And we'll also have a healthy recipe from Hannah Richards preparing chicken liver pate. And I'll be answering a question from a viewer. And of course, the Chrissy B Show wouldn't be the Chrissy B Show without our news anchors here, Ian Pelham-Turner and Helena Shard.
Hello, hello,
hello.
I thought for one terrible when I was going to have to do that exercise again tonight, but thank
No,
God
you
it's
won't.
just for women. No.
Well,
You know, I won't go into my pelvic floor. You don't want to hear about problems like that.
No.
But reality tonight is we've got two big royal stories, haven't we?
Yeah, starting with the Duchess of Cambridge.
Yep.
Yes.
So we were hoping for twins, or hoping for a girl, but it seems it's just going to be one little boy. But Prince Harry has said boy, but I don't know. We're not too sure about that.
We wanted a little girl.
We do. I mean, there still is a chance.
We want
but
to see what
definitely
she was
not
going to be
twins.
dressed in and everything.
We do. I'm still holding out for a little girl, but it's definitely not twins.
Okay.
That's what we've been
So
told.
those
It's
are
been
announced
verified today.
And she's seen the scan, so she's had her first scan now, so everything is fine and dandy
Good.
on that bit. Now
So when will we find out for sure?
well,
Boy or girl?
April next year.
We'll
So
find
we
out.
always have the right answer for you,
We'll
Chrissy.
find out.
I mean, the reality is, April next year, there's two royal occasions anyway. On the 21st of April, it's the Queen's official birthday. So she'll be 87 on that day.
Wow.
It could be on that day, or it could be on the 29th of April,
Just before the elections.
just before the elections, but it's the
good
royal
news.
wedding anniversary.
Yeah.
So it'll
that's
be
some excitement.
marvellous if it's on one of those. We'll be doing that.
Double celebration.
But the other strange story at the moment, really sort of strange story, is that there's rumours going around, and even people like some of the major betting shops have stopped taking bets on it as well, that the Queen's going to abdicate this year.
No.
Now,
No.
you say
Do you
no.
think?
But they always say, I mean, it's always the case, isn't it? Somebody puts on a bet in Windsor and it's always a big one, like £20.
Yeah.
And they suddenly cut the odds because they think someone's in the know somehow.
But now this
So
is much more than £20. Someone's put on a major bet in Windsor to say
Really?
the Queen is going to abdicate this year. So all bets are off,
Bet.
and everybody's sort of scampering around at the moment to actually sort of discover
I
what
just
it is.
can't. The Queen and her country, I don't know. I don't think so.
Well, she's getting on a bit. isn't
She's
she?
getting on, but she
Yeah.
still will. She's just passing it on, really. She's doing a few
I suppose,
jobs.
but it must be really tiring for her.
Yeah, I think they're amazing, I have to say. And bizarre gifts given to the royal family. Some of the things that they receive, or to the Queen. There's a cathedral made out of gingerbread, which actually I thought was quite sweet.
Nice.
The other one being a gnome, not so sweet. I'd hate to get a gnome for a present.
you
And
mention-
oyster cards, but I think that might be a bit of a dig, because why would you give oyster cards to the Queen?
I
That's
don't
a
know,
bit
Because
but you know, I suppose because she's got everything else. I suppose
well,
it's the only thing she hasn't got,
she's
isn't
not
it?
gonna
Yeah.
do-
I like getting food gifts.
Yeah, that's because
You
you're
don't.
hungry.
No.
No, you're not eating enough.
I don't know, because sometimes you get so many naff gifts and then you just...
Yeah,
I don't like
so-
clutter, so I don't sort of like ornaments and, gifts, that kind of
The
stuff.
nice
I'd rather get,
fruits
like,
and-
a box of mangoes, I'll be happy. I love
Mangoes.
that.
Oh,
Very nice.
I seem to get boxes of chocolates for some
Do you?
reason.
You should
Absolutely.
share them.
Yeah.
I know I should share them really, but
Oh, you did give me some the other day. actually,
I
yeah.
did.
Yeah.
Well, some of your favourites, which
Yeah.
we can't name.
I did
unless we have to
already by
name everything
mistake,
else.
didn't I?
I know. Unless we name everything else as well.
Never
But,
mind.
that was good.
Also with a bit of a Queenie touch, Dame Helen Mirren, who's played the Queen, obviously, she is now the face of L'Oreal. So, and she's 68, I think.
she's amazing,
She's
though. She looks
amazing,
lovely.
isn't she? But there were rumours that
She's
she was
not had
gonna
any
have-
work done, has she?
She hasn't.
That's
but
what I
funny,
think.
But funny enough, it was rumoured that she was thinking it about time that she should have a facelift, and I don't think she
I think
needs
she's beautiful
to.
the way she
But I think
is.
L'Oreal nipped in and got her just before she,
Yeah.
she's had it done. But
She's
now
just
she's
got
the
that
face.
natural... Yeah, she's ageing, but so what? She looks great
she looks
still.
great, doesn't
Yeah.
she? So she's with obviously the likes of Cheryl I was about to say Cheryl Cole, but it's Cheryl Fasani, and I can't remember her name.
Fernandez.
I think we know she's still going to be known as Cheryl Cole. That's just too much,
isn't it? Be known as Cheryl, and that's it, because everyone knows who she is.
Everyone knows who she is. Yeah.
But she's still quite a feisty lady.
Dame Helen Mirren.
Yeah.
She knows what she wants.
She knows what she wants. I mean, I've worked with her a few times in the past. I worked on a very famous movie called The Long Good Friday with Bob Hoskins, and she knew what she wanted even in those days as well. So she's quite a determined lady.
She is, but she's amazing. Yeah, she's absolutely amazing. So Hampton Court Palace have started up ghost hunts, obviously just in time for Halloween, which is appropriate. But I imagine it would be very exciting. It'd be just being there.
There's supposed to be lots of ghosts there.
There are.
All right, so they're actually. We had a ghost hunter on a couple of years ago on our Halloween show. Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
He brought this kind of equipment that he uses and everything. Yeah.
He didn't pick up anything.
No, he didn't.
I keep on feeling this brush of air going past me every so
often.
The
air conditioning, Ian.
Air conditioning.
Gosh. And George and Amal Clooney, their second celebration in Marlow. Actually, you lived in Marlow.
Why have you?
I lived in Marlow.
I think it was for their guests that couldn't make it.
Oh, okay.
So I think Brad and Angelina Jolie, Brad Pitt.
I had 2 weddings.
Did you?
Yes, to the same person.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah, I had one wedding when Mum wasn't here, and then we had another one when she came back.
I think it's an excuse to celebrate, isn't it?
Yeah,
in a way, it's nice, and lots of
people
joined in.
plates and that type of thing?
No, don't throw plates, Ian.
I was going to say, do you belly dance?
No, don't. No belly dancing. No, belly dancing, and no plate throwing.
Posh Spice, incredibly well. I still know her as Posh Spice. Everyone does. Victoria Beckham, named as the UK's top entrepreneur. So well done to her. She says she's worth something like 220,000. Her fashion business. Million, sorry.
Okay.
But she's actually worth more than David Beckham now.
Oh, really?
And it's to do with her fashion empire, which is I think worth 30 million. So that's incredibly good. Isn't it amazing? Yeah, so good for her.
And you just wonder, where it's going to end, because obviously it's the next generation now. Brooklyn's coming up now. And starting to sort of do his modelling work as well. It's like an empire. It's like a dynasty, isn't it?
They've got good role models. Gosh, they all do incredibly well.
And he always says that in the past David Beckham has never really liked modelling. He never feels like he's masculine.
Does he?
He's never felt comfortable, in the role, and he tries to sort of say he never feels masculine and.
He's quite shy, really, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, when you hear him talking, he's quite softly spoken, isn't he? I suppose modelling is.
But he's been a great ambassador for this country, I think, as well.
Yeah.
If anybody deserves a knighthood, if anyone's listening to us tonight that does that, he deserves a knighthood.
I don't know. I think he's amazing, but I'm not sure about a knighthood. I'm not sure.
You just think he's good looking. You don't think.
I think he's done really well. But so many thousands of people have done well. Everyone deserves. Everyone deserves something. So Doctor Who and the Daleks. Do you watch that?
No.
I'll do that again. Do you watch it?
I know what Doctor Who
watch it. It's
I know
quite
the
fun.
actual programme, but I don't watch it.
They now made it sort of an educational scenario, sort of a curriculum skill, which is great.
Really?
And it's teaching children.
Well, the ratings going down or something?
No, it's teaching children computer skills.
So basically what they're going to do is they've actually sort of set something up where the children have to go through different stages of completing tasks on the computer, and it's like sort of playing a computer game. And then if they get to the sort of top, then they sort of see Doctor Who. But
they have to save the Doctor, don't they? So
they have to save the Doctor, absolutely.
Which is fantastic.
And something we've been talking about this week is there's a new poll come out saying that 23% of married couples are going to counselling. And this is a new poll come out by solicitors in Britain. 23%. I think that is. You were saying that's not a lot, but I think that's a hell of a lot.
I sort of
that's
read
almost
it.
A quarter of the married population.
I sort of had taken it a different way. That it was actually 23% of couples in trouble.
Yeah, but imagine the amount that are in trouble, the number that are in trouble but aren't actually bothering to do anything about it or not addressing the issue.
So I was taking it 100% of people in trouble. Out of that 100%,
only
23% would take counselling. So I looked at it the other way around. That's not very high.
I was about the whole.
Yeah. So if you take
I understand what you mean.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because really, if you really want your relationship to last and it's on the rocks, you would seek help
Yes,
somehow.
yeah.
So if it's only 23% getting that help, that's quite low.
It is.
Have I really confused everyone now?
No, I understand what you mean. Ian's gone.
Ian's gone.
Is it 23%
It's okay, you'll explain it to me in the car going home.
So 23%.
We've confused the viewer, so we have to clarify now. Is it 23% of
Yes.
married couples that are in trouble, or
yes.
married couples in general?
Married couples in
23%
general?
No, in trouble. It is married couples in trouble.
Right, let's just get this clear, right? Before you come onto the show and give a piece of news, can you make sure the
I
facts
read this to Ian Penter. No. Anyway,
Let's move on.
Move
I
on.
think we've run out of time anyway.
swiftly
Maybe we can check that one out and let you guys know at home
We will.
on the next time they're on,
We'll
right?
remember. We will.
All right. Thank you
Chrissy.
so much.
Thank you.
It's fun.
And we'll see you again next time
You will
with more
indeed.
installing news.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, so do stay tuned, because after the break, I'll be meeting international supermodel Harriadnie Beau to tell us the truth behind the modelling industry and how people often misjudge what this career entails. And we'll also take a look at a fitness tip from Jane Wrafter on strengthening your pelvic floor. Great for the ladies, especially those who've had a baby or are planning to, so do stay tuned.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back. Now, before we say hello to Harriadnie Beau on the show, let's take a look at this fitness tip from Jane on strengthening your pelvic floor.
Hi everyone, welcome to your fitness tips. This really is one for the ladies, okay? So I want to talk to you about strengthening your pelvic floor. If you've had a baby, I'm sure that you will have heard of this and your midwife will have talked to you about strengthening the pelvic floor. If you haven't, it's worth knowing about it before, because if you strengthen your pelvic floor before you have a baby, you have a much better chance of your pelvic floor remaining intact after birth. So a great way to strengthen your pelvic floor is to go to Pilates or yoga classes. Both those classes incorporate the use of the pelvic floor. So to strengthen it and to initiate it, all you need to do is imagine you're on the loo and you're stopping the flow halfway through. So it's an internal squeeze. And the beauty of this is you can do it anywhere, anytime. So if you're sitting on a bus or washing up or driving your car, you should always think about just strengthening the pelvic floor. So you take a breath in, and as you exhale, draw the internal muscles in. And you might notice a tightening across your lower tummy as well, which is a good thing, because the pelvic floor works in tandem with your deep lower abdominal. So you can always exaggerate that and pull that in as well. Just try not to pull a funny face when you do it. Okay, so get on those pelvic floors, girls, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you, Jane. And now it's a pleasure to meet Harriadnie Beau.
Hello.
Hello, my darling. How are you?
I'm really good. How are you?
I'm very well. It's lovely to have you on the show.
No, I'm more than happy to be here.
So you're going to tell us all about your modelling career. And also the truth behind it, because maybe you face a lot of sort of negativity sometimes about what people think about the industry, but you're going to set the record straight today, aren't you, as well?
Controversial industry, yeah. So much about it that people don't realise what's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So it is a lot of glitz and glam, like people think, but there's also the bad side. A lot of the younger models seem to think that it is just full glitz and glam, but I mean, it's long hours. I mean, young girls go into the industry and they're put into such hard situations. So like fashion weeks, it's such long hours, hardly any water, hardly any food. I've seen them pass out in the back. Really? Yeah. Gosh. It's just so intense for them, and they're so young going into it. Yeah. It's just a tough industry. But
tell us how you started. Was it like a dream that you always had, or was it something you just fell into? Yeah,
I went to Sylvia Young's. I was on the books of Sylvia Young's acting school from a young age, but then I went to college, did my own thing. And then one day I just got discovered at the age of 16 by HMH Couture. She's designer to Cheryl Cole, Elle Macpherson and quite a few celebrities. Then my career since then escalated to new heights, and I was kind of enabled to work with some of the world's best photographers and magazines, Vogue, Cosmo, there's lots of different ones, and since then it led on. to me becoming brand ambassador of over 15 companies.
Wow.
So yeah, it's sort of just taken...
But what about the acting? Did you leave that completely then, or was that something like...
I think the acting was a good side, but I lost confidence when I was younger. So the modelling sort of enabled me to just be with the camera, not so much acting, rehearsing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And would you say it's been quite difficult as well for you since with the modelling? And
yeah, it's been really difficult because I'm actually freelance. So all of my work from getting the 15 companies, it's all been my own work. Me and my mum, we would sit at the computer till 3 a.m. just emailing companies, trying to sort of make contract deals rather than going through an agency and having the work done for me. So, so it's sort of a self-made brand ambassador, I guess.
And what do you enjoy about it the most? Your modelling career?
Meeting new people. I've met some amazing people in the industry, some amazing, I mean, A-listers that I'm lucky enough to meet. I just can't believe it. Working with people like Vogue, it's just things that you dream of, but it's actually happened. Okay. So probably
And you've travelled quite a bit, haven't you? Can you tell us about that?
So I've travelled through the whole of the Caribbean on tours with different companies. I've recently just come back from Rotterdam with a magazine that I represent. So I have to go to their meetings with them and represent them at shows. So I went to the House of Byfield's fashion show, which it was incredible because it showed me the difference between English fashion and different countries' fashion. It was incredible. I'm off to Switzerland in 3 days' time because there's a chocolate company that actually wants to name a chocolate after me. So it's very different. Yeah, it's
good thing you've got an unusual name as well.
I know, crazy name. Not many people can say it. Yeah, but
thank Mummy for that.
Yeah.
Now tell us, you do charity work as well, don't you?
I do.
Can you tell us how you got involved in that?
Yeah, I mean, breast cancer is something that's very close to my family, and then I become the patron of Detect and Protect Breast Care Awareness. Okay. So I represent the company and I go around at charity events, fundraising events. I also have taken part in the Gracious Alma Diabetes event. There's so many charity bits that I get involved with. All around the country. I just go to all of their events.
Does that, would you say that kind of keeps you grounded as well, like helping others, and so it's not all sort of about your career, but you're actually giving as well, would you say?
I think it's so
some people get caught up in it, don't they?
I know, yeah, definitely. I think it's so important to sort of make sure that I give. It's something that's actually really important to me, really, because it's so close to my family, especially the Detect and Protect breast cancer one. But yeah, no, I love doing the charity work because I meet so many people from it. It's great. Yeah, it's a great cause and raise a lot of money.
Yeah, good.
Really good.
And what would you say to maybe young girls now that are thinking of, who really want to, to be discovered and get into modelling? What would you say to them?
Maybe don't go down the route of thinking that everything that's promised to you will happen. Unfortunately, when I was younger, I believed a lot of things that people told me. So they would promise me the world, and unfortunately, it didn't happen. So try to set things in stone rather than just believing it and thinking that it will come easy to them. It's not an easy industry to be within.
So not to be naive then, and just to kind of be...
Yeah, and the criticism, just take it on the chin. There's so much of it, the amount of criticism I've had, but then you just learn to get thick-skinned and ignore it.
Yeah,
so become bigger.
Now your mum is here with you today, and I have to say, you guys you've got a fantastic relationship. How important is your mum in all of this as well?
She's been my guidance, my rock, everything. She's the most important person. She's literally the one who, if companies have let me down or things have gone wrong, she is there to pick me up. Yeah. She's actually like a mummager, I call her, because she's like my mum and manager. Yeah. No, she's brilliant. She comes to me with every event, every photo shoot, just as a companion. Safety, it's so important that there's someone there with you all the time, because you can turn up to some shoots and it's not what you think it's going to be. So it's important to have them there. But yeah, my mum's been there all the time, my rock.
That's what I was going to say, because maybe there are some youngsters that do want to get into the industry, but maybe they don't have their mum around, or their mum's not supporting them or anything. So it is important to have at least someone else with you all the time. And sometimes not even the best person isn't necessarily the manager either, is it? Because
yeah, no, it's important you feel comfortable with them, and to go with someone who's always going to be with you all the time, not someone that's just going to go off and leave you. But no, you do turn up to some shoots and they are different, and you think, no, I shouldn't be doing this. I need to go home and get out of it.
And not to be afraid to say, look, no, I don't want to do this. And just like
that's what you find as well. So many people in the industry, young models, feel scared to actually voice their opinions. So I mean, we are closed horses. We have to wear products and make the designer look good. It's not about the models at all, really. We're just nameless faces, I guess, that wear the clothes and make them look good. And I think a lot of models forget about that, but it is still important that if they feel uncomfortable or don't like what they're doing, they have to voice it, because so many people feel pressured into doing things, and it's a tough industry.
Okay. And what about the future for you? What would you like to be doing in the future?
Going into presenting, maybe, hopefully.
Yeah.
Also with the brand ambassador side of things, I'm now, well, I've got 15 companies I represent now around the world, from supercars, beauty magazines, beauty products, all the way to classic cars. So hopefully keep taking over more and more companies, take over the world with my brand ambassador in, if that's words.
And do you have time to have a break, or like get to have some new time? What do you think?
I wish. At the minute, not really. I haven't had a day off in 2 months. So
really?
Not one day off. Even today it's been filming for a new TV show, and then coming here, it's just been manic a few days, and then I'm out again to Switzerland, but I enjoy it, so I'm not complaining. It's
not like work.
Exactly,
it's like
no, it's
enjoyable
work, yes. I guess it's like a hobby. Could call it that.
Hobby,
No, but hopefully Christmas I'll get off.
Yeah, okay.
That's good.
I hope you get a break as well.
Thank you.
Harriadnie, thanks so much for speaking to us, and all the best for the future.
Oh, thank you very
much.
much.
And well done, Mummy. She's sitting over there. Okay. Well, do stay tuned, because after the break we'll be speaking, or we'll be actually watching a video with Hannah Richards on how to prepare liver pate, and we'll also be talking to Chris Cowlin to hear about his writing, acting and world records and other pursuits. So do join us after this break.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to the show. Now, before we meet our next guest, let's take a look at a healthy recipe from Hannah Richards, preparing liver pate.
Welcome to the MTS kitchen. My name's Hannah Richards, and today I'm going to show you how to make a chicken liver pate. Chop your mushrooms nice and roughly, and then some onions. Okay, so now you've got your onions and your mushrooms. We're going to take them over to the pan and start cooking with our meat. I'm just going to take a spoon of some coconut oil here. Coconut oil is great for a variety of different health issues. I'm going to start with a little bit of sea salt as well, some black pepper. So in go the onions, throw in your mushrooms as well. So this is the chicken liver. It's organic. I like to, if I'm using an organ meat, I'll always use organic meat. It's fresh from today. It's not everyone's cup of tea, organ meat, but it's got really great health benefits to it. I'm just going to throw them all in there and mix them all through. Okay, so those chicken livers are more brown than they are pink, and I think we're ready for my spinach. So the spinach is just a handful. I'm going to give it a bit of a tear as I put it in. I'm going to top that off with half a lemon, the juice of half a lemon. And this is going to be a dairy-free chicken liver pate. So here I've got coconut cream, not milk, and I'm now going to turn the heat down and let it all simmer. Okay, so this has sort of been simmering away for long enough, and I'm just going to take half a bunch of parsley and chop it. Okay, so I'm actually going to use the bullet to do this chicken liver pate, because your bullet machine can do absolutely anything you ask it and whiz it up. Done. Okay? And I'm just going to pour it into one of these dishes here, like that. And I'm going to let that set and let I'm just going to do that with the rest of the liver pate. It's great for taking to parties, taking on picnics, you know, taking to dinner parties as a dip, using as a dip instead of, you know, copious buckets of crisps and nuts and things like that. You can cut carrots and courgettes, cucumbers, and dip them in the pate. It's for me, it's a great recipe. It's a great food. I eat it at breakfast, lunch, or dinner. It's a great all-rounder to help.
Thanks very much, Hannah. Well, now it's time to meet Chris Cowlin in the studio. Now, Chris is an author and actor and currently holds the world record for the most published quiz books, 119 to be exact. Hello, Chris.
Hello.
It is 119, right? Or has there been more since then?
There's actually been more.
Oh,
since
God. How many is it now?
It's 126 books in total, but I think it's 123 quiz books.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
Let's shoot the researcher then.
So a few more since then.
Since then,
yeah.
Okay, brilliant. So tell us where it all started, Chris. And has writing always been your thing, or?
Not at all, no. It all started because I work for, well, I am a book publisher, and I've always worked in publishing. And one day an author got in contact and said that he couldn't do a particular project based on West Ham United Football Club. And it took a few days and I thought, actually I think I could do this, because I've always been a big Spurs fan. My dad always used to take me as a young kid, and we always went to White Hart Lane, loved the football. I used to drive everyone absolutely crazy on a Monday morning because I'd go into school and I'd be quizzing 30 people in the class, saying who scored the goal, what minute was the goal scored, who wore the number 7 shirt, and so on. And the teachers would always just say, Chris, be quiet.
Did you actually know the answers to all these questions?
I did.
Or you just,
I did. I was a brain really of just facts, of useless information about these football facts that I'd seen. Watched the game on Saturday and then knew all the facts for the Monday morning. So everyone I went to school with or grew up with, it's no surprise to them at all that I've done all of these books, but it was never ever planned. I was in at the deep end and I thought I'd try and do the book on West Ham.
It's a good thing you did, isn't it? Because look now.
Yeah, I know.
It's a tiny sample of the books that you've written.
The book sold very well. We actually raised a lot of money for the Willow Foundation charity for that book, because we donated £1 from each book sale to charity. And then the great thing is that a lot of football clubs then got in touch with me and said, how about doing our book? A lot of the books that I've produced and written are official products of the club.
Oh, wonderful.
So we've worked with club historians and I've met a lot of players, ex-players, managers and so on, asked them about their careers. And it's just gone on. But I'm the sort of person that I'll be sitting, relaxing, watching TV, and then all of a sudden I'll have an idea will pop into my head. I'll start getting my computer out, I'll start getting a piece of paper and a pen, start jotting things down, and people are like, everyone around me, family, friends, they're like, what are you doing? And I'm just jotting things down and then just form them into books.
Wow. Now, how long average does it take you to write one book?
I would say a couple of months. It could be sooner, it could be longer. I'm the sort of person that if I've got something to do, if I've started something, I want to finish it. If I go into my office, for instance, on a daily basis, that if there's work sat there, I won't go home. I want it all finished. I want a clear desk, because I'm a great believer if you've got a tidy desk, my mind is then very tidy and I can move on to the next thing.
Very true.
If I've got lots of mess and lots of work sitting about, I don't think I could sleep at night.
Oh, I know what you mean. So this is your most recent book, the Ultimate Spurs quiz book.
Yes. These types of books for me that I write on my club, Tottenham, it's not a job, it's a true passion. And I love every minute of doing them. But
how do you come up with everything though? Because I know, when you're relaxed and stuff, the ideas come, but do you do any research and stuff as well?
Lots of research, because some of the questions, for instance, how many goals did a striker score in a particular season? if you pick up a program, you know, from years ago, or you pick up a club book, or look on the internet, you might get many different answers. So you have to delve into every single match. There's a lot of cross-referencing, lots of, you know, I've got things laid out all the time, you know, matches, goals, it's just history galore all over. And I have to delve in, look at every single game, and, you know, putting all the stats together.
Gosh.
So yeah, there's a lot of work.
That would give me a headache, I think.
A lot of work.
Now you've also written a book based on your children as well, haven't you?
I have.
Can you tell us about that?
I thought this was a couple of months ago. I was sat there and seeing, like, I've got a 4-year-old Amy and an 8-year-old Harry, and
so plenty of stories to tell.
They were playing in the garden, playing football, and I thought, I thought of a really simple idea. Children's books sell very well, and I put a book together based on them. Amy's always sitting watching Harry playing football, and Harry's always dreaming of scoring goals and you know, in cup finals. So it's a very traditional children's book, great ending, and they absolutely love it.
That's very different, isn't it? Because obviously that one requires a bit more creativity, whereas these ones are just sort of like fact-based, aren't they? Like
well, I thought I needed a new challenge, so I thought, why not? You know, kids' books. I've got 2 children. I know what makes them happy. I know what, you know, makes them tick, and yeah, is there
going to be like a second or a third one based
probably,
on them? Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
They must love it though.
I think,
a book all about them.
It's called Harry Loves Mud, and so Harry's like the main character of the story. So Amy's now saying, you know, where's my story? So it's kind of...
He's got no choice now. You landed yourself in it, didn't you?
So I've got to do another one.
And just before we go, Chris, what does the future hold, do you think? More books? Definitely more books.
More books.
What else do you think?
Lots
we didn't even talk about your acting, did we? Gosh.
Lots of acting.
Tell us quickly about your acting before
One of my highlights is that I was actually a supporting artist in Skyfall, the James Bond film. Weirdly, when I got into the acting, lots of friends and family looked at me and said, Chris, what on earth are you getting into that for? And I said, well, I want to be in a James Bond film. And they all laughed. A couple of months later, I'm standing there, Daniel Craig's pushing me out the way in Skyfall, great scene. So absolutely fantastic.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
so is that something that you can also go into, you're planning to go into more?
got lots of acting roles coming up at the moment, so yeah, doing really well with that. So,
all right,
yeah,
Chris,
really
Superbrain, we wish you all the best for your future.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for coming on and telling us all about it. Thank you. All right, so do stay tuned because we do have more for you. I'll be answering a question from a viewer after the break. And we also have the Self-Development Clinic with Chris Browne talking this week about understanding your way of learning.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to the show, and we are now in the Self-Development Clinic with Chris Browne. Hello, Chris.
Hi, Chrissy.
How are you?
I'm really good today, really good.
We're going to be talking about different ways of learning, and I think it's very important for people to understand their way of learning.
Most definitely.
But we'll talk about that more in just a minute, because we're going to answer this question from a concerned mother, and it's Joanna. Okay. And she says, hi Chrissy, my daughter keeps getting picked on at school by these girls, but it does not seem to be sorted out. The other girl's mother keeps encouraging her daughter to behave badly, and even when I tried to reason with the father, he didn't seem to have too much to say. I don't really want to call the police because I don't want to bring any unnecessary problems, but how can I sort this out once and for all? Right, so first of all, Joanna, I don't think it's a good idea to actually deal with the parents of the bullies directly. You need to involve the school instead. So once you've reported it, I would say, you know, give the school a chance to actually do something about it. I know you're very concerned, and obviously no one wants their child to be picked on, but make sure you give them a little bit of time just to try and sort something out, speak to the parents and so forth. Now, in the meantime, I think it's important to advise your child that if they do experience this again, to go to a safe place, to get them to identify safe places within the school, and also people that they can trust, that they can go to as soon as this incident happens. So that could be a teacher, it could be a dinner lady, it could be another parent. So make sure they've got someone as a point of reference to go to if it does happen again. And if you're finding that you don't mention if it's like physical bullying or anything like that, but if it's physical, Identify, you know, where this is happening. Remain calm. Your child has the right to feel safe, and you can demand that the school actually investigates this. So don't sort of, if it is something physical and you fear for your child's safety, then you really need to push. And if your school's not doing anything, there's actually the Advisory Centre for Education. You can contact them and get them to deal with the school. But I would say, you know, I do understand your concerns, but I think the first step would be, you know, to speak to the school first rather than get involved with the bully's parents, because that could just open a whole other can of worms. That's what I would advise for you. And if anyone else has a question for me, you can email me on chris@chrissybshow.tv. Chris, anything to add to that?
I totally agree with you. I see the school about it, teachers first, then get the parents involved as well. They do need to know what their child is doing, intimidating, and bullying does a lot of things to a child as it grows up, you know, so it's quite serious,
Okay. All right, but let's go to another type of learning now.
Yep. That's right, another kind of learning, understanding your learning. And when we talk about understanding your learning, meaning many times we've done different subjects, different topics, or have you ever had that scenario where you're in a classroom and the tutor's talking, but it's just going over your head and you're looking at them and you just can't,
Remember Laura at university.
I've been there. But the funny thing about it is, well, it's not so funny, to be honest, because it has an effect later on when we find out we didn't understand what we was learning. But if we understood how to actually learn, we'd be in a better position, right? Now, when I'm talking about learning styles, I'm talking about VARC, right, which is a model. And VARC is, V is for like visual, A is for audio, and R is for reading and writing, and K is kinesthetic. Get that word out.
Reading and writing.
Reading and writing as well,
right, okay.
Yes. Now, the thing about it is, why do I mention those? And it's quite a wide area to go into, but I'm going to try and condense that. You've got about, we visited this before in the past, but it's funny, every time when I've been somewhere, someone's always said, oh, the time when you did about learning, that time as well. It's something that always comes up, and it affects a lot of people. Think about this situation. You've got 10 children in the classroom, especially talking about from the 70s up, 80s upwards, right? Teachers taught differently. You've got 10 children in the class. One of the children is, let's say, visual, learns visually instead, right?
Can you explain a bit what you mean by learning visually?
Great, okay. So talking about visual, actually seeing what's on the board and learning that way instead. Where another child
like
might be,
videos,
pictures,
like that.
videos, that sort of area. Another child might be kinesthetic, as I said, like to actually be shown. Good at drama, good at being shown how to write this, how to do that instead, right? So you've got about 10 other children like that, right? Sorry, 10 children visual, 1 child kinesthetic. Teacher turns around and says, how come you can't learn anything? What's wrong with you? And starts getting a bit irritable all the time. They get low marks. Later on, start growing up thinking, well, maybe I'm a bit slow. Or maybe a bit dumb, being labelled in that sort of way. And it does carry on that way after. But if that person went back and revisited it and understood, and I'm going to explain how, understood what was their better way of learning, they would probably have achieved the goal and the grade they needed. Now, when I talk about those 5 areas, the V, visual, you asked me what it was, right? Just like I said, it might be looking at a film. It might be reading what's actually on the board, these sort of areas as well, right? That could be that individual strength, a way of learning. Tutor didn't realise that, was teaching them in a blanket way of kinesthetic, showing
one size fits all kind of thing.
That's it, exactly. So let's talk about, that's visual. So A is the audio. Some people learn better listening. So oral, somebody speaking, explaining it, they'll learn better. They might not be a visual person, right? Somebody else might be better at just the reading and writing. The way they express themselves, they pick up on it quicker. But they might not be someone who is audio at the same time, right? That's their strength. Then we've got the kinesthetic, which is actually showing, which I remember many kids like before actually, good at drama and all those sort of things, and being able to describe something very visually, and you know, in a group, they're very loud and all that, and they tend to be that sort of person. But they might not be audio as well, right? So then they go into a class, as I said, blanket teaching, one way across, but the teacher hadn't realised that this person would have learnt better if had done this technique. Things have changed. Now teachers are taught that, how to actually teach. But there's a lot of people before that period who have gone on, missed out, and still feel labelled up to date and will not visit a classroom or go back to any kind of test or anything because it's a nightmare because of that sort of situation. Now, to identify these areas as well, here's one which teacher identifies. Say like you asked someone a question, asked you a question, and you turn around and you went, and you started looking up. That tends to indicate this person is visual. They're thinking for their mind and they look up. Or the other one is ask the person a question, they look to the right, left, and then that's actually ears, listening, audio as well. But I'm going about just three, the kinesthetic as well. The person, you ask them a question and they stand there and they look down. Why are they looking down? They are looking down because they're actually visualizing the movements they actually did. Yes. So it's little things like that gives it away. Or when you're talking to someone, you said, did you understand what I'm saying? And you turn around and say, oh, well, I kind of get it. I feel what you're saying. Feel. It's all you're talking about, kinesthetic, you know, or I hear you. Audio, right? That sort of thing. You can identify this in someone just in a conversation as well, the way they take in information. But the main thing about it is the individuals to actually go back and revisit and work out, well, what is my personal strength, way of learning out of those? I'm not saying that it has to be one. You could have
a combination.
Yeah, you can have all four. You can have all four, but one of them would be the stronger area. And I can actually think of myself as well, if I'd revisited certain topics as well, and I thought, well, hang on, totally understand it now. I devour information like that very quickly now. Back then it was like, oh, trying to work this out, trying to work that out. And you understand it. When you actually work out the whole era of VARC, and I'd advise anybody, look it up, you know, learning styles. It will make a difference to everything you do. And the way you learn, especially in this period, we're talking about studying, people going back to colleges, all that sort of thing.
And it's not even just for people. Obviously, it's very helpful to know that for, you know, if you do want to study more, or maybe you know, adult now, and you want to go back into education. I think it's really important. But also, I think some people are maybe not planning to go into further education or anything like that, but they've been kind of traumatized from the past, and they thought, oh, you know what, I didn't pass my studies, I failed at my exams, I didn't do very well, and they've held on to that because they thought they were kind of dumb and they were a bit thick and they weren't very good, when in actual fact it was more likely that they just didn't know their way of learning, or the teachers back then didn't know that they could learn in a different way. So you have to take that into account as well. So don't beat yourself up or start thinking, you know, I'm rubbish, I can't do anything in life just because of something that's happened in the past regarding your education.
Very much so. And what I'd say in saying that, I'll actually challenge someone to actually go and do that and give you some feedback on it. Go back to the class, find out. You'll be surprised what you can actually do, what you can achieve. You know, nightmares of the past have gone. Now you understand what you are about, how you can learn instead.
Gosh, that's really important, isn't it?
It is, very much so.
What am I wonder? You weren't expecting me to ask you that way. Shall I look up, or maybe not, just to confuse you?
All of them at once. Right. It's funny, you know.
I'm not very good at just listening, like to someone and taking things, and I have to see something visually, and normally I have to do something. For someone that explains to me how to do something, I need to do it myself to really learn. Right, okay. Yeah. I think when I think about myself, I think visual is a strong one, as well as kinesthetic. Seeing it done, actually seeing it, devouring information, reading, yes, you know, that sort of way. But thinking about a strong point, it's something I'm going to have to delve into even deeper myself. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's a great thing. Have you identified your learning mechanism?
Yeah, your learning style. You found out your learning style, yes.
Brilliant. Chris, thank you so much.
Pleasure.
And we shall see you again next time on the show.
That's right, Chrissy, thanks.
Thank you. Alrighty, so we have reached the end of today's program, but if you want more information about the show and the guests that we've had on today, you can visit the website chrissybshow.tv, and don't forget, you could always get in contact with me if you have a question, if you're in a dilemma, you'd like some advice, or even if you have a success story that you'd like to share. I'd love to have you on the show. So see you again next time. Bye-bye for now.
Give long enough energy for long enough.
Okay. Sorry, I'm laughing because something that, sorry, it's not you, man.
That's all right, it's all right.
He went to say 5 minutes and he said £5. It's like £5, sorry. You were doing so well, it just threw me. I'm so sorry, Marilyn. What, are you thinking about money? Are you thinking about money? Is that £5?